And I am so excited. Y'all have no idea. Super excited about my special guests. Finally get to get them in the podcast to bless the people today. But without further ado, man, this is going to be a treat. I'm going to ask my guests if they would be kind enough to please introduce themselves to the people.
And what's good, people? I'm Chrystal Hines. I am founder and CEO of Inner Beauty Program Inc.
Yes.
What's good? How you doing? My name is Kareem Hines, and I'm the founder of the New B.O.Y, which stands for New Breed of Youth Mentoring and Youth Development Program.
Yes, awesome. Thank y'all so much for being here. This is truly an honor and a privilege. And so I asked Miss Chrystal to come on because I'm familiar with Inner Beauty and I'm familiar with New B.O.Y, but I don't know. There's so many layers and tiers, right, that go along with it. But we had the privilege to connect and meet through Deidre Lloyd and the Indiana Mentor when I was able to be on the call and hear about the youth and all the programs that you all had there. So I said, I got to get them on the podcast. I got to get them here to talk to the people. So real quick, I'm going to run through some of the services that you all provide because the list is quite extensive, but it's very impressive. So both Inner Beauty and New B.O.Y provide mentoring, life coaching, crisis response, tutoring, parent education, day and evening reporting, foster and support parent training, truancy termination, home-based casework, supervised visitation, and you also operate inside the Warren Township Schools. Again, I mentioned the Indiana Mentor Network, and then the Young Entrepreneurs Program. How do you even get started? Like, how does that start? What came first? Like, how does this start?
It started with a desire to connect with young people. I'm a native of Harlem, New York.
Okay.
So my story started when I connected with my mentor, who was a program director at the Harlem YMCA, which was about 100 feet away from my front door. And he was a man who took an interest in me, even though I had a dad in my life. My relationship with my mentor was different. Huge asset, not only to myself, but the community. He was our liaison to the YMCA because, of course, if you know the Y, you don't just walk into a YMCA. Right. They charge you guest pass fee.
Absolutely.
And the Y was one of the only community organizations that we had in Harlem at the time. So as kids coming from Harlem, we couldn't access the Y every day through a guest pass fee. So when he came, and his name is Damon Donaldson. Big shout out to Damon Donaldson.
Yeah.
He's not here anymore, but he is my first mentor other than my dad.
Okay.
Damon allowed us the opportunity to be able to utilize the YMCA without paying a guest pass fee because he created a mentoring program. So he allowed all the kids from the neighborhood to come into the Y. I was a Y kid. I started karate at the age of 6 in the YMCA. So I was kind of his person that he would use to get the neighborhood kids into the Y. Eventually, Damon left New York and got called to Indianapolis, Indiana to be a program director at the Fall Creek Y on 860 West 10th Street. Huge blow to the community, but to myself personally because I lost my mentor. You know, I lost my advocate, you know, one of my biggest advocates other than my dad. About a year after he left New York, he came to Indianapolis and he called me. Said, hey, you want to come out to Indianapolis, Indiana? I said, no, I do not.
I'll pass. I'll pass. Yeah, that's
but I went through some challenges in my life, and he offered me an opportunity to come out, work for the summer, and he told me I would come back to New York with a car after the summer. So that was my big draw. Okay. But he knew I wasn't going to earn enough money in 3 months to get a car. Yeah. But he foreshadowed. He knew that if he changed my environment, he could change the trajectory of my life. So that, long story short, is how I ended up in Indianapolis.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. And Miss Chrystal, how do you start Inner Beauty?
So I am from Indy.
Okay.
And I just always say, like, I'm just a little dusty foot girl from the inner city of Indianapolis.
Okay. Not really, but okay.
Well, growing up, very humble beginnings. Okay. Born into teenage parents who were born into teenage parents who were born into teenage parents. And so definitely needed the mentoring community, the village, the church, all of that to help raise me. So just while I was into one of the churches that I belonged to at that time, I was the Sunday school instructor, the choir director, the youth director, and all these things. And so I wanted to start something that empowered the girls a little bit more, because what I was seeing was a shift that was a lot different than what our generation was going, you know, had been through. Yeah. And I'm like, oh no, this is going the wrong way. They just did not have an interest in church or in God at all like we did. And I'm like, okay, I need to figure out how to get them to be drawn into church without actually being, you know, like the church. And so I created what's called the Inner Beauty Pageant.
Okay.
And that pageant process was a 3-month process, and we went into like character development and etiquette and hygiene and healthy relationships and all these things, and it culminated with the pageant. And I had no idea that from that very first year that I was going to actually end up creating a whole agency.
Wow.
Because that 3 months left the girls like craving, like, well, what are we supposed to do?
What's next? Absolutely.
And so, you know, at that time it was more personal. So I was like, okay, well, you guys can sleep over, do little sleepovers and things at the house, or we could, you know, go out and, you know, go to the mall, go to the movies, do excursions. But it had to be more than that. And so I eventually ran into my now husband who provided me with the space to create a year-round program.
Yeah.
And through the year-round program, we were getting girls from all over Marion County, and they had different needs. And I was a classroom teacher, and I got a lot of kids out of my school and the district to come to the program, but it was bigger than that. And so just from doing what we were doing as far as like the pageant process, and now starting to do college tours, and then starting to do more events and just all types of trips around the city and outside the city, we got some attention from DCS and affiliates, and they were like, well, you know, can we put some kids in your program? Sure, let's go.
Let's do it.
And so that really like propelled the business side of our agency and made it more than just, you know, like a ministry or a calling, like, oh my gosh, we do this. And I had to leave the classroom after 8.5 years. I thought I was going to be a principal and then the superintendent of IPS. And
you had a plan.
God was like, no, you're gonna pivot. And this is about to be something different.
That is awesome. I love it. Those stories. I mean, I wanted to ask you next, like, you know, what's your why? But that explains it. You know, why you do what you do and why you serve the way you serve. You know, what I hear in both of those stories is just servant leadership. You know, again, I told somebody just last week, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. And so many times people say, you know, send me, I'll go. I want to do it. You know, I aspire to be this, or I aspire to be that. But baby, when that shift occurs and the pressing and the shaping and the molding, so we get to see the list of the programs now, right? But what we didn't see was the process. Everything that you go through, the highs and the lows to get through here, but it's worth fighting for. So thank you for sharing that. I'm interested now to talk a little bit about the programs specifically that you all provide. So we have the Empowerment Circle, dance and wellness for the ladies, DBT therapy, Power Up, boot camps, chess, trauma yoga, the book club, that's good. And then we also have Leader Circle, boxing, basketball, sports programs, martial arts, podcast and recording studio, literacy arts, trauma yoga, Friday Night Lights, right?
No.
What am I missing? Did I hit everything?
Those are the local programs.
Okay.
So then we kind of wrap our incentive programs around that. We have a lot of youth and family events. So we do at least 3 to 4 family events throughout the year where we are able to put our kids on a pedestal. Because as you know, working with kids, you have to deal with the holistic child.
Absolutely.
You deal with the holistic child.
Absolutely.
You have to include the family.
Absolutely.
You have to include the whole ecosystem.
Absolutely.
So we have a lot of youth and family events where we look to engage the whole family. We want the mama, the daddy, the auntie, the uncle to come and see these kids that we're able to work with 3, 4, 5 days a week. We want them to see them on a pedestal. So she has the Inner Beauty Pageant. I have the New Boy, Not Sophistication. We have our poetry slams. We have our different events throughout the year where we allow the whole family to come out and experience newborn Inner Beauty at that event. And then we try to collaborate with a lot of different agencies to touch even more children, to touch even more adults, because we can't do this by ourselves, and we don't do it by ourselves. We are part of an ecosystem here in the state of Indiana.
It's necessary. It takes a village.
That collaboration is what's on the the Indie Mentor Network. And so I know you mentioned it earlier, and that is several different agencies, collaborating, coming together, and being a more powerful entity, because we've got numbers at the table. We've got all types of different experiences, all type of professionals, just coming together and saying, okay, what do the kids need from our perspective? And then we don't just stop there. We bring the kids in, and we allow youth voice to also drive and control what we're doing as well.
Yeah. One thing that I was really, all of it's impressive. No exaggeration. All of it is impressive. I want to talk about the HBCU tour. I asked about that. But also the entrepreneurship program that you have for youth. Let's talk a little bit about that. How did that start, and what is that about, and what's the why behind that? Because I know on the call, all of the youth had a business, right? Everybody started a business. So do you want to share a little bit about it? I love it, though.
Yeah. We operate under philosophy in both of our programs called connection before correction. So you listed off all the things that we try to engage youth in. It doesn't start at correcting a person. It starts with the connection. So we'll use anything, whether it be an activity, a program. We'll find something that we can interest that youth and interest that family in, and we'll come as unconventional as possible. So we have a bunch of different programs, but what we found when we're talking about our system involved youth, and even non-system involved youth, they're getting in a lot of trouble because they have a lot of free time. And when you really sit them down and ask them, and you listen to understand, not listen to respond, they want money.
Absolutely.
How do I get some money? How can I work? A lot of our young people are not in a position to work because of their age. There's a lot of restrictions around youth employment in Indianapolis. So we said, we'll create opportunities, which became the Young Entrepreneurs Program. So we put them in a position where we're able to have resources and provide resources. We can teach them how to create a business. If not create a business, maybe they had an idea already. It was already an existing idea, and we just want to come alongside of them and help cultivate that idea, no matter what it is. And through the grace of God, we have resources. So we put them through almost like a Young Entrepreneurs Boot Camp, where we teach them about what type of businesses they can run, the tax implications of a business, what a business plan looks like. You were on our call. It's really cute on a Saturday morning to say, I am the founder and CEO
no,
of this business. But like you said, now, when Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
what you
Friday,
doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it gives us a chance to talk about life skills and some of the things that they're dealing with in their life through the entrepreneurs program, where we're talking about them getting money. So a lot of things we address. It could be substance abuse. It could be their mental health. It could be their relationship with their family, their relationship with their peers. That all ties into being an entrepreneur, especially a young entrepreneur. So that's just one facet of our program that we put into place to make a connection with the kids, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely it does. And I love it. Again, it's so much. I'm like, where am I going next? Where am I going next with this, right? But I'm curious to see, what does your staff look like? What does your team, because it's two of y'all, right? And I said earlier, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. So y'all can't be everywhere every time. What does your team look like? And if someone is interested in joining your team, is there opportunities for them to say, I love what you're doing. How can I come support you?
So for Inner Beauty, we've always had a pretty nice base of women who have kind of been there since the beginning. And we do grow from there. And so we've got about, right now, 23 that are staff, boots to the ground, constant, every day. They're out there. They're doing the work that needs to be done. And then we've got about 7 volunteers that, are coming not every day, but on occasion, and do what they have to do to help us to stay organized. Or maybe they're the ones that go out and do the resource booths and, spread our name, or they're the ones that do the social media and things like that, because we, like you said, we can't be everywhere. We definitely do try. And I really try to document it on social media that we literally try to be everywhere. But of course we can't. So what we're hoping to always do is be able to reproduce ourselves in people who have a like mind. And who want to be mission minded and get out here and help save our children. And so, like I said, we've got 23, and Kareem, the demand for the young men is much higher, but he doesn't have very many laborers.
No, we I say it all the time. I'd rather roll with 10 lions and 100 sheep any day.
Ain't that it?
Any
Ain't
day.
that it?
And
Ain't that it? For
everybody
real.
says they want to be mentors, but it takes a lot.
It
and
does.
that mentoring word, you know, in society has become so watered down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we walk into a school and you say, well, I'm a mentor for so-and-so, I look at you like, because there's been so many people that have kind of manipulated and took advantage of these kids in so many different ways. So we do not have a big staff, but I understand it doesn't take a big staff.
No, not at all. Not at all. Absolutely.
Big hearts,
Absolutely.
big passion.
Absolutely.
You know, for youth change.
Yes.
And we're active 5 days a week. We have a really solid volunteer team, which unfortunately only consists of 6 moms and 1 dad. We need more dads.
Okay.
So if our dads
there you go. There you go.
To me, we need you. Go to newbreederyouth.org. Go to our app, IBNB Mentor. Look us up, download it. You can contact me. Here's my personal number, 317-869-5022. We need more men in this game.
Yeah.
But we don't need men that talk the talk. We don't need men that thrive on social media. We do social media, but we do youth empowerment. If possible, I wouldn't even be on social media because our victories come in seeing those young people every day.
Absolutely.
And being able to unpack and really immerse ourselves in their lives. So, no, don't have a big staff. I'm not worried about a big staff, but I am worried about having men who are genuinely passionate about being immersed in the lives of these youth and starting that reframing. Because once you make the connection, then you can make the correction. So once we make the connection with those young people, then we start the reframing.
Absolutely.
And with my mentor, he affected one person from Harlem.
Look at it now.
I wanted to affect thousands.
Absolutely.
So what he put in me became infectious, became contagious, and now I want what we do to become contagious. When God introduced me to her, that became contagious, and I don't know how I could be in this business without having somebody I can come home to and talk business with, because you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand at all. So I think when you say that God has predetermined our destiny, this is a perfect example of that.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. You know, I love the energy, and it's always consistent, right? And I think it draws people. You know, when you have big personalities like that or a beautiful smile, like people are just drawn to you naturally. However, I can't help but think that there's a factor of intimidation. There's a factor of, they think they are that, or they got it all together, or there's not room for me. How would you speak to that person who misperceives or judges what they think that they see? What's your response to that?
I think that's again why I try to make sure I put it all out on social media. Like we don't have time for that type of mentality. We are mission driven. We've got kids to save. We have families to save and provide for. And so we need everybody. We need the village. And every time the village shows up, I make sure that the village is posted. We thank the village. We love our village because we cannot do it by ourselves. We're serving hundreds and hundreds of kids a year.
Absolutely.
That's not a 2-man job. And we don't know everything. We're not experienced in everything. We cannot provide everything. I do like to say, we're a full service salon for everything that's up for the inner makeover. But I'm not the only stylist in the salon. You know what I mean? So there's all of these women and all of these men that come together, and they just got, all, like I said, just different backgrounds, different know-how, and all of that collectively is what it takes to drive something as powerful as what we have.
Absolutely.
We cannot do it in like this little mindset of, okay, it has to be me. I've got to be out front. I've got to be this point person. I got to be the only teacher and the only leader. That's not ever going to work.
Let me tell you.
We want to bring the whole community.
You have to. And when I'm blessed to mentor leaders across the world, I just told a team last week, this is not about you. As a matter of fact, it has nothing to do with you at all. To your point, it's about saving, leaving those lasting impressions, saving those lives, and then that trickle effect, that you see paying it forward through one person, one man's work, one woman's work, And so it's important that people understand that they get sidetracked, and it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
And what's understood don't need to be explained.
Let's
keep it a band. And one, I'm from Harlem, so I'm gonna be me. I'm not an Indiana person, so I was born and raised on 130th Christian and 7th Avenue in Harlem. So I do come
stand up, Harlem.
Edge. Yeah, no doubt. I'm stand up. I do come with a little edge. What I do know is I'm passionate about these kids, and we don't have time for the other stuff because we're losing them. 2023 was a hard year in Indianapolis. We lost more kids to gun violence than we ever have. That's unprecedented. So like you said, if you have your personality in or your ego in that, I don't got time for that. If you're passionate about youth work, like I said, like she said, we're all over the city doing events.
Yeah.
We bring people in. We're trying to touch every kid. And if you are passionate about youth work, we'll run into you. We ran into you.
Absolutely.
So we run into you. You'll see the spirit.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't have to tell you that I am an unapologetic Christian. Hopefully you'll just see that.
Yeah.
You know, in my personality. So as far as me trying to appease people and placate people, don't have time for it. But ask a mom or a dad or a grandma who he is or who New Boy is to my child. That's where it starts for us. Tired of going to the funerals. I want to go to more graduations. Tired of seeing the negative stories on the news. You know, I want to do more Inner Beauty Pageant. I want to do more nice Sophistication. So if I'm weird, constantly worried about what other people think about us.
That's a distraction.
Big time. And we're being distracted too much already in our community.
Well, I'll say too, you ain't popping if you ain't have no haters, right? You ain't popping if you don't have haters.
Where are they? I don't know.
But I said earlier, I wanted to ask you about the B.O.Y. and New Boy. We're at the end, but can you explain that to me?
Well, it's funny how what you went through as a young person kind of helps dictate your journey as an adult. And that was the name of my karate class.
Oh.
When I was 6 years old. The Harlem Mindset was called the New Breed of Youth Martial Arts Program. And my karate instructor was a huge influence on my life, and I teach karate to this day. So when I got a chance to affect young people like my karate instructor affected me, I wanted to create a new breed of youth. I really do want to create a new breed of youth.
I like it.
Any youth that come into our program, we have a mantra. It's called New Boy Fresh. I am New Boy Fresh. I will not let my circumstance or situation dictate my elevation. To the top is where I strive to be. 100% hard body attitude. My success in life depends on me. That is our New Boy mantra.
I love it.
So that's kind of where New Boy comes from.
I love it. Y'all, I mean, I feel it. You know, I'm excited. I'm all warm and fuzzy. Like, really, I am. I love this stuff. I want to ask you, too, about the HBCU tour, because I didn't, it wasn't listed, but it's definitely something personally I want to get my daughter connected with. But can you talk about a little bit about the HBCU college tour?
So it's not always HBCU. We do explore other colleges. Last year we did 5 states in 5 days, and we took 2 bus loads of youth, and we wanted to make sure they got a full HBCU experience. And they weren't all black youth either. Everybody needs to be able to be aware of that experience. And so it was beautiful to go see the Greek life and to see the plots. And some of the Greeks came out and they stepped for us.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And all that. So that was amazing. Because that draws kids to college. That piques their interest.
Absolutely.
And so that was beautiful. So we do always every year do a historical and college tour. This year we will be going to Howard University, and we'll also be stopping at Grambling, and so it's still going to have some HBCU flavor, but we have some other things planned as well as far as the historical part of it. So we'll stop in Washington D.C., we'll go down to South Carolina, and then we'll travel over to New Orleans because we want to put some good flavor into this trip.
A little sauce on
so some Cajun seasoning on this, and that. Even the trip started because we knew that we had to get the kids out of their neighborhoods. We wanted to expose them and give them just opportunities to see more than what they had been seeing. They don't see school as a necessity. And so we wanted to be able to kind of bridge the gap. Yeah. And I mean, if I could be honest, there was one year that I didn't think that we were going to make it because of finances, and so I cashed in my 401k that we could go on our college tour. And I would never change that experience. Like, I was a teacher at the time. I didn't really, we didn't have a lot of resources. We didn't know how to reach out to get more money. We didn't have grants and things, and I was like, no, these kids are going. So I got to take a group of kids we went to Georgia and went to Florida and Memphis, I think, but I took my retirement money to make sure that our kids could travel on that trip.
That's a blessing.
That's when I knew I wanted to marry.
Oh, that's a blessing. Yeah, selflessness. Oh,
kids
my goodness.
Can't be what they can't see.
Yeah, no, really.
The conversation that we had with a young person on, 30th and Pulse or 25th and Emerson. That conversation is received different when we're out of town.
Absolutely.
We're moving from the environment.
Yeah.
So we love the college tours, we look forward to them, and it gives the kids something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Okay, what kind of program you have? A program that you mentioned, it's not something new. We approach it in a different way, but everybody's doing that program. And so we always like to keep something in front of the young people so they have to look forward to, because our kids that we see in our neighborhoods these days, they don't have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of hope.
Really,
they don't have a lot of people wrapping their arms around them. We do a lot of talking around them. We talk for them, but their voices are not empowered. It's one thing we try to do, and once we do that, and we find those young people within our programs, now you have something to look forward to because we're ready to get you up out of Indianapolis for about 5 days in July.
Absolutely. So, I love it. I do, because you think about so many kids who have not gone beyond their block. Yes. You know, neighborhood, city, and so being able to bless them in that way. Now, is there a cost associated with that? If someone wants to get connected with their, you know, get their child connected to a program, is there a fee, or how do they reach you? How can they contact you?
We don't have very many fees associated with the program. For big trips like that, we do a lot of fundraising to try to minimize the fee. We do other trips too, like we go skiing, we go camping, we try to get them out. And so we don't want them to have to pay all of that money. They do need to be connected to our programs before we go. It's not like where they could just apply to go directly to the college tour.
Gotcha.
No, we have to have, their investment of being part of the programs. And so with that investment, like I said, comes that fundraising, and that's team building, that's entrepreneurship, all those things to teach them how to be responsible, and also to seed into what they're going to do. Because if we get kids that are going and signing up and they're not vested, then those are the type of kids that don't really respect the tour that we're on.
Absolutely.
And so we'd rather see the fundraising effort as opposed to putting their dollars into the
And it makes sense. I get it. It makes perfect sense. So before we go and as we transition, I ask you all to come with your affirmations. If you would be kind enough to look into that camera and give your affirmations, affirm yourself for the people.
Yes.
They're going to start with me. I can say, as I've said earlier in the interview, I came from humble beginnings. And so I am capable.
Yes.
I am worthy. I am fully equipped. I am prepared. And I'm respected for the job that I do.
Yes.
And I appreciate that about my life. And I love the life that I have. I would not trade being who I am and where I am and the family that I have and just this lifestyle. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
It's a blessing. It really is. Yes.
Cameron, I am humble. I am a dad. I'm a father. I'm a mentor. I am accountable. I am responsible. I am a brave advocate for youth. I desire to collaborate with other passionate men. I am also worthy. I am a God-fearing, unapologetic Christian, and I am a migrated Hoosier. Thank you.
I love it. Okay. Now, just from that, if you all would also take a moment, that mom or that dad who was doing their best with their child, seems like they just can't get ahead, and it's a cycle and it's a circle. Will you take the time to encourage that father or that mom, that mother for me, again, looking into the camera?
I'll go first. Dad, if you can hear my voice, I'm coming to you from man to man. Our kids do not need materialistic items. They just need us to be present. It is one thing to be in the home. It's one thing to be in your child's life. It is a whole nother thing to be present. I am asking you to develop a intense relationship with your son, with your daughter. Get to know your child. Get to know your child beyond what we came up as. Know what your child is dealing with right now as a teenager, a preteen, or youth being raised in 2024 right now. If I, Kareem Hines, with the New Breed of Youth Mentoring and Youth Development Program, could be of assistance, please reach out to me. newbreedofyouth.org. Email address, kareem.hines@att.net. I am looking forward to being a transformational person in you and your son's life and not a transactional person. Peace.
Love it. Love it.
All right. I will just say there is no actual parenting expert. I know that there have been lots of books written. There are lots of articles out there. There are lots of people who feel like they can give you the self-help manual to go out there and be everything that you need for your child. Only your child can tell you what they need. Only your child can tell you how to raise them. And so don't be too hard on yourself thinking, I'm not doing it like the book. What book? There's no real book that gives you this guide to being a parent. So give yourself some grace. Like, if you need to cry about the day and not feeling like you won, do that. And it's okay to even do that in front of your children, because your children need to know that you're a person too, and that you can have weaknesses. Because if they don't see that vulnerability in you, they won't know how to be vulnerable people either. And so they need that from you. They need that time from you. They need structure. Our kids love structure. They love responsibility, and they love accountability. So please don't think that you need to spend too much time being their friend and being too gentle. Just be there. Be there and pray and ask God to guide you to be the best parent you can for each child. It's all going to be different. Every child is going to have different needs. Every child is going to have a different personality, and they're going to respond differently. And be okay with parenting every child in your home differently. It might take you to do something double time, triple time, but that's okay. That is your job. That is what you're built for. And trust me, it will come to you naturally. And if you need help, reach out to the village to make sure that you get the help. Don't be so caught up in yourself and consumed in thinking that you have to be their only hero. I had lots of heroes. And my mother, thank God, is okay with that, because she knew she needed the village to show up to raise me. And I think that they all did pretty well.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So Kareem told everybody where they can find him. Will you please tell us where we can find you?
Yes, I can be, my website is ibnbmentor.org. IBNB standing for Inner Beauty New Boy Mentor.org. My phone number is 317-833-5810. And my email is Chrystal, CHRYSTAL, @innerbeautyprogram.org. So I can be reached in all those ways. Social media, Inner Beauty Program Inc.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much. This has truly been an honor. It's truly been a privilege. You have blessed my spirit. You have blessed the podcast. Just being able to connect our audience with your resources and your services. God bless you. But this has been amazing, y'all. Like, oh my God, I feel so full. I feel so full. This is absolutely amazing. And I'm honored to be able to partner with such great individuals in this great work that we're out here doing, this passion work that we're doing. But if you all need any services, or if you want to get your child connected, you heard the contact information, please, sir, please, ma'am, do that. You're not by yourself. You have an entire support system. It's needed. It's necessary to help you be successful in raising your child. You are not alone. Until next time, please have an amazing day intentionally. I love you. Let's get it. Let's grow. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.